welcome back to my channel. So my name is Jade, for those of you that haven't been here before, and if you have been here before, then welcome back. We're going to go through a really short stretching sequence today. So if you've just been for a run, this is a great stretching sequence for you, just to help you release any tension in those muscles so that you don't have any DOMs tomorrow. We need to look after the body. If you haven't been for a run today, but you just really need to stretch your lower body, then again, this is a perfect workout for you. Going to keep it really short and simple. Try and hold the stretches for as long as possible, because that point where you want to stop is that point where you need to hold it that little bit longer. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you could, that would be amazing. Let's do this. Standing, in case you have been for a run, you don't want to just sit down straight away. So I'm going to go side on so you can see. Just going to step your right foot forwards and step your left leg back. Your toes are facing forwards. Try and make sure your feet are hip distance apart, otherwise you might fall over, okay? We're going to bend into the right knee. Make sure the knee is over the ankle. And then push the left heel into the ground at the back. Try and get both hips square to the front, so you don't want to be twisting. And try and get the weight coming forward so that you feel a stretch in your left calf muscle. So you want to really drop that heel heavy to the floor. Try and get the left hip coming forwards. At all stages through this, we want to work on the breath, because if you're quite tight, you really want to focus on the out breath. It's going to help those muscles relax and lengthen out. I always say you want to get comfortable in stretches. Some people say, Jade, these stretches do not feel comfortable. But as comfortable as possible, so you really lengthen out those muscles. You've got to look after the body. If you've got really tight, short muscles, they pull on your body and it causes all sorts of injuries. So you really got to look after the body, and it will help you in the future. So from here, what we're going to do is just do a baby pyramid. We're going to straighten the right leg now. So I'm lengthening both legs, and then hinge forwards from the hips, bringing your body parallel to the ground. So both legs are now long, slightly soft, but they're long. Hips are square to the front, both heels coming down to the floor. And I'm just trying to get the body really long, thinking the crown of the head coming forwards. If you feel really wobbly, take your feet a little bit wider. That might help with your balance. Or you can always hold onto a wall or something like that if you need to. You want to really feel that stretch going up the back of the legs here. Thinking about tilting your pelvis, tilting your bottom right up towards the ceiling. Bend into that front knee and shake it out. Good work. Let's do the other side. So stepping your left foot forwards, right leg back, take them a little wider apart if you need to. Bending into that left leg, pushing the right heel heavy into the ground. If you find that it's too much, take your legs closer together. If you find you're not getting that stretch, maybe take the legs a little further apart. Have a play around. Try and get that right hip coming forwards though. Really want to get the hips square, not twist into the sides. And make sure that upper body's relaxed. So no tension. We'll do this, oh gosh, stretching. Just relax the upper body, bending into that front leg, really pushing that heel down heavy into the floor at the back, looking after that calf and that Achilles heel. And then we're going to lengthen that left leg, so both legs long now, hinging from the hips, crown of the head coming forwards, and get into those hamstrings in the back of the thighs, all the way up the back of the legs, possibly into the bottom if you're really tight. You might not even be able to straighten that front leg, and that's okay. You can take the feet a little closer together if that helps. And like I say, really work the breath, especially into the back of the left leg here. And keep those legs really long. If you've got really tight hamstrings, sometimes that does cause an issue into our lower backs. So we want to make sure the legs are really loose and supple. Bend into the front knee, bring it up, shake it all out. Great, let's come and sit down on the ground when you're ready. So I'm sitting onto the bum. If you find stretches are really tough, you might want to get a pillow or a brick or something that you can sit on to lift the floor height. It helps everything feel a little bit more comfortable. Going to bend the right leg, popping the right ankle on top of my left thigh, and I'm just using my right hand to ease that right knee away from me. Okay, so using the right hand just to applying a little bit of pressure on the inside of the right leg, just to turn out through this hip joint. Want to really stretch out through the hips and through those glutes as well today. So a lot of lower body stretching around the hips, the bottom, the thighs, the calves, hip flexors, okay? So that when you next go running, you feel really light, your legs are going to push you along a little further because you haven't got really tired, heavy, short muscles. Okay, let's pick up that right knee, pop the right foot on the floor so it's crossed over my left leg. I'm going to take my left hand, pop it on the outside of your right knee, right hand on the floor behind you, take a little twist. So I want you to try and look up and over the right shoulder and using that left hand, pull that right leg in towards your body. It's going to stretch into the bottom. Try not to lean back onto that right hand, just the fingertips down. Lift up really tall, open out the chest. Work the breath if you need to. If you're still recovering from a run, you might need to do a really few slow, deep breaths. Help bring that heart rate back down. Then let's come back to center. Give those legs a shake out and do the other side. So you're going to bend the left knee, left ankle on top of the right thigh. Just use that left hand, apply a little bit of pressure. Just open out that hip. You might not have even been running. You might have done a heavy leg session in the gym, or been out for a bike ride, or you just feel that your lower body needs a stretch. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. It's just really important to take a little bit of time out of your day to give your lower body a little bit of love so that we don't have any aches and pains in other areas. I'm going to step that left foot over the right hand on the outside of the left leg, left hand on the ground behind you, seated twist, looking up and over that left shoulder. So easing that left leg in towards us, twisting through the body, looking over the left shoulder, seeing how those glutes feel around the outside of the hip and the bottom. And then bring it back to center when you're ready. Great, take both legs long, keeping the legs long, seeing if you can creep your fingers down the legs, go as low as you feel comfortable. Really important to keep these legs straight. So if that means this is it for your stretch, that is better than going too low and bending the knees, because you want to stretch it into the hamstrings behind the backs of the legs. So hinge forwards from the hips, melting forwards, going as far as you feel you can, keeping those legs long. This is one of those ones where I say you've got to really work the breath. You're going to think, oh, that's it, I'm stretched. No, stay there a little bit longer. That point that feels uncomfortable sometimes makes you feel a little bit sick if you're really tight. Just work the breath. As long as there's no pain. Pain is not great. Discomfort is different. Roll yourself up when you're ready. Bend those knees. Let's roll down onto our backs. So take your time, come onto the back. And with your knees bent, just take a little rock side to side. Make sure there's no pressure, tightness, no tension in the lower back. And then we'll hold knees bent. Let's take the right leg up towards the ceiling. If you can, take hold of behind the thigh or possibly the calf. If you cannot reach your leg without bending the knee, grab a strap. If you haven't got a strap, improvise, a towel, a dressing gown, jumper, anything that you can just flip over the leg, around the back of the leg, and then hold it and use it to assist bringing that leg in towards you. Because you want to keep that leg long, keep the left knee bent, that's going to make that easier for you. And just stretching into the back of that right thigh. Work the breath here, take your time, just slow everything right down. And then we'll bend the right knee, pop the right foot on top of the left thigh once again. Right knee's coming away from you. Then you're going to take hold of behind the left thigh, drop your head and shoulders down and pull those legs in towards you. Whilst you're doing this, think about the right knee you want to go away from you. If that right knee is coming towards you, get it away, because then you're going to feel a stretch in the bottom as well. Okay, so this is really lovely for the lower back. You want to stretch out around the bottom, the hips, and take off any pressure through the lower back, the pelvis, and the hips. Okay, let's pop it down, let's release and change sides. So taking the left leg up, either holding the thigh, the calf, or using a prop to help ease that leg in towards you. Remember, try not to bend that knee. You want to keep the leg as long as possible. and keep the upper body as relaxed as possible. So keep working that breath. Slow it down, take your time. Your legs are gonna love you for this, I promise. If you start doing some personal bests on your runs after this, then let me know. I'll take credit. Bending the left knee, left foot on top of the right thigh. Open out that left knee away from you. Taking hold of behind the right thigh. Head and shoulders down and just ease those legs in towards you. So really turning out that left knee. Stretching out through the bottom, through the hips. Work the breath. Take your time. Think happy thoughts. Hopefully if you've been for a run, your heart rate's come down now. Your breathing's back to normal a little bit. Release it down, pop the soles of the feet together. Just open out both knees. Take a little rock here, gentle, side to side. Just want to open out the hips. Make sure there's nothing left. Tension, tightness around here. Your hips might pop and crackle, it's all good. Bring those knees together, hug the knees in towards the chest. I'm gonna roll myself up and come up and over onto the knees. So just join me on the knees however you can. Don't worry if you didn't do it like that. Let's step the right foot forwards into a low lunge here. So right foot flat on the floor, knee over ankle. Think about drawing your left hip forwards. So this is a low lunge, you want to stretch out the hip flexor in front of your hip now. So just easing the hips forwards, where you feel a stretch. Take the legs as wide as you feel comfortable. Don't have to go too wide. And again, if you start to lose your balance, maybe take your foot and your back knee a little wider apart. That will help stagger you out slightly. Or you can hold onto a wall if you need to. Let's take a half split. So just going to straighten the right leg. Bring the hands down towards the ground. Peel the right toes off the floor. Again, try and keep this right leg as long as possible. So stretch once again into that hamstring, down the back of the thigh, possibly into the calf. If you can't peel the toes off the floor, feel free to keep that foot flat, and that's all good. So one last breath here. Then let's bend into that right knee. Let's change sides. So bring that right knee back. Stepping the left foot forwards as wide as you can. Use your breath to sink into this a little deeper maybe. Right hips coming forwards. Just make sure your left knee is not pushing over your front toes. That's not a good angle for the knee. You want to have your left knee over your left ankle. So just working the breath here. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the chest lifted for now while we're stretching out here down the front of the right side. And then let's take our weight back, so transfer the weight, left leg long, peeling those toes off the floor if possible. Still trying to get those hips square, so still want to make sure the hips are square to the front. And we're just lengthening down the left leg. You might be able to straighten one side, not the other. Just depends on your body. Taking one last deep breath in. Let it go. Okay, bringing that left knee back. Let's just lay down onto our tummies when you're ready for a quad stretch. So you're going to bend your right knee, take hold of the right foot with your right hand and just ease it in towards you. Try and keep the knees together if you can and rest your head onto your left hand so there's no tension through the neck and the shoulders. So you're just stretching through the front of the right thigh, the big quadricep muscle. Don't worry if you can't hold your foot. Again, you can use a prop, a strap, a jumper, flip something over that foot and you could hold the handles to bring that leg in towards you. Even a resistance band if you've got one at home, something like that. Or alternatively, you can do this stretch laying on your side. Some people find that a little more comfortable too. Let's change sides when you're ready. So taking hold of the left foot with the left hand. Try and keep the knees together. Head is rested on the right hand. Just stretching out. Basically what happens is your muscles shorten as they contract. And when you finish your workout, you just want to let those muscles lengthen back to their resting state so that they don't pull and cause any unnecessary pressure on joints and body parts. So one last breath here, lengthening through the front of that thigh. Release it down. Push up onto all fours when you're good. Have a little rock of those hips. Let's just take a wide child's pose for the hips, okay? So toes together, knees come wide, sink your bottom back to the heels, and just reaching those arms forwards. So if this doesn't work comfortably for you, you can take your knees a little closer together, or you can pop a pillow or a brick or a cushion or something between the bottom and the heels or underneath your chest. Anything that helps make you feel more comfortable in a posture, because then you can hold it a little longer, and obviously the more comfortable you feel, the more relaxed your body is going to be, which is obviously more beneficial when we're stretching out. So just bringing yourself up onto all fours, tucking the toes under, lifting the knees off the ground, take a downward facing dog. So heels heavy to the ground here. You might want to pedal, so lift one heel up and then change, push the other heel down, and that's going to go into the calves. And then once you've had a little pedal out, push both heels heavy into the ground, lift the hips even higher, stretching through the whole of the body, and then walk the hands and the feet to come together, bend your knees, let your body just hang down here, have a little shake out the head, shake out the shoulders, bend the knees even further, and as you roll up, keep the chin on your chest, restack, the chin comes off last, and you come back to the front, have a little shake out, and I really hope your legs are feeling a little bit better now, feel like they're a bit looser, a bit more stretched out. If you want to try any more stretching videos, there's lots on my YouTube channel, and if not, let me know how your legs feel after your next run. See you soon.